Our new guest titans are entrepreneur Dario Herrera and crowdfunding expert Sarah Hardwick as we welcome Angel Mosley from CyBase Risk Management.
I am so excited about being on this show. I recently escaped corporate America and founded the company, and my product name is CyFireAI. I am confident in going in there because I know my product. Hello, Titans.
Hello.
Hi. My name is Angel Mosley. I have been doing cybersecurity for 20 years. And in doing so, I learned that it is the small, medium-sized businesses that are the weakest link. They don't have the money to spend on training and sometimes even the baseline controls. CyFireAI is the product that's coming out of CyBase Risk Management. It trains the executive suite on cybersecurity events. So it builds that muscle memory so that when, not if something happens, you know what to do. So it's not something that executives think about, right? Your CEO is thinking about keeping the company together. Your CFO is thinking about financial risk. Your CTO is thinking about making sure all the technology systems are running. So all of those things still have to happen during a cybersecurity event. So now it builds training over time so that it puts you through scenarios. And what that looks like is a movie. So I'm a huge movie buff. So I created CyFireAI just like a movie. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it crescendos over time. So each inject gets worse and worse and worse until we get the bad guys kicked out. Now there's decisions to make. Now there's remediation that needs to be done. So it takes them through that full life cycle of a cyber breach.
Very interesting. Dario, what do you think?
I'd love to learn who your competition is and what your total addressable market is from your perspective.
From a small, medium-sized business standpoint, because that's where I'm going after, there are companies out there that produce incident response playbooks. So what that is, they'll say, okay, for ransomware, you're supposed to do this. For insider threat, you're supposed to do this. You get that with my product plus the training with it.
So you're expecting CEOs, chief marketing officers to watch basically these scenarios, learn from that, and pass that on to who?
They participate.
Okay.
Everybody has a role to play. Close your eyes. Imagine you just got a phone call from the FBI saying your company data and your customer data is out on the dark web. What do you do next?
Call my lawyer.
Right.
What I'm doing.
Exactly. Or call my IT guy, right?
Yeah.
So what the scenario does is it puts forth those types of things where each person is responsible for making a decision. You're the CIO, you're the CTO, you're the CFO, you're the head of HR, you're the marketing officer. I get all of you in a room. We run through a scenario. Usually takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours, but it is interactive. You have decisions to make. The good news is that it will also put out probability immediately after you make your decision. So it'll say things like, based on your decision to do ABC, there's an 80% chance that XYZ could happen. In that, if you don't like that probability, you just changed it. You go back in, you make a different decision, you get a different outcome.
Tell me how it's using AI. And what was it, ChatGPT? What are you using?
I do have a development team that is pulling this together. They've already developed their proprietary AI that I'm building on top of theirs that is very similar to ChatGPT. We take publicly available information from past security breaches. And that's how we're training the LLM to learn and to put that probability out there and to give you the roadmap to resilience. So at the end, you get a letter grade, just like you're in school, A through F. If you get a C, you get a report that says, here's how you go from a C to an A. It'll say things like you need MFA installed. You need to have this level of, if you're, for example, a hospital, you have to be HIPAA compliant. There may be some things that you missed within compliancy. It will tell you that. We've also vetted MSPs, which is managed service providers in the IT world. We vetted them, so when you get that roadmap, you'll get a list of companies that are available and within your market from a pricing standpoint, right, your price point, that you can utilize, because we don't do everything. We have a very niche area, but we do partner with companies like insurance companies that offer cybersecurity insurance. A lot of people don't realize you need cybersecurity insurance. So what that looks like is I work with brokers, insurance brokers, that one of two things: either they cannot get cybersecurity insurance for their companies because they don't have those controls in place, or they have it, but their premiums are sky high. So I work with companies to get their premiums lowered if they already have it, or to get them to pass the test to get cybersecurity insurance. That's on the front end. I sit in the middle. On the back end are the MSPs and MSSPs that deliver the services.
So you mentioned you're out there training them, you're there in person with them. So in the future, you'd have MSPs be the ones doing the training?
The answer is yes. Also, because it's a cloud-based product, they'll be able to run their own simulations. The IT person can log in with their username and password, and they can run their own simulations within their company. So I get to step out of the way, and they get to do their own thing. And it's a subscription-based service.
Yeah, Angel, one of the interesting things Dario asked was about the total addressable community, which I work with a lot of small and mid-sized businesses, so it's millions.
Yes.
And I know you talked about competition, which I think is a non-starter and non-issue, because there's so many small and mid-sized businesses that are literally living in ignorance and bliss about cybersecurity. You also said something I thought was really pertinent. And I learned it in criminal law when we were in law school, the broken window theory, right? Like once one window's broken, everybody thinks it's okay to have a broken window. You talked about people don't rob houses that have lights, a security sign out front, and a ring in the door, because there's so many houses that don't.
Right.
And I think that's a critical issue for CyBase risk management, beyond the great processes and SaaS solution that you have for them, is that just having the lights outside and the ring in the front door and whatever other, because these guys are lazy, right? The cyber thieves are lazy. So if there's even one layer, they're like, oh, there's millions of other people I'm going to attack.
Right.
Why would I even try to figure out getting caught? What are some of the layers that are there that you as CyBase risk management provide that are real deterrents from anyone even starting an attack?
That's where the base in CyBase comes from. So it's baseline cybersecurity controls, because if you don't have the foundation, then you're just throwing stuff against the wall to see if it sticks. So those foundational controls, I took them from a framework called NIST CSF, which is a United States national framework. There are over 100 different baseline controls that you can have. I tailor that to the company and the industry. Multi-factor authentication, make sure that you have identity and access management. So make sure you know who has access to your systems, who's supposed to have access to your systems, and what level of access are they supposed to have. So just because they work for your company doesn't mean that they need access to your financials.
Awesome.
How much does this cost?
So there's 3 tiers. We're starting at $2,500 a month, again, small, medium-sized businesses, and they get a foundation set of controls, which is the risk assessment, plus awareness training, not just for the board, but for the company as well. They also get a quarterly meeting with me or someone from my team. And then from there, it goes from $2,500 up to $4,500 up to $7,500.
How much revenue do you have now?
Right now, it's still in development.
Okay.
So I am seeking early adopters, 5 early adopters that will help us beta test it and make it better. And they will get grandfathered in for a lifetime. So they will not have to pay for it.
I'm in for that.
Yeah.
I love that strategy.
So cybersecurity is keeping these owners up at night. What keeps you up at night as you think about this and as you try to develop this and bring it to market?
I want to do good. So what keeps me up at night is I want to create a product the weakest link can afford. I want to create a product that is almost seamless, but it still makes you think and it makes you recognize you have a responsibility. The hardest part about what I've done since I started CyBase is I have to convince people they need me. That's what keeps me up at night, is like, why don't you know that you need cybersecurity?
Yeah, no question. Cybersecurity and healthcare related products are the 2 biggest targets now for investors, smart investors. The TAM is massive.
Yes.
It's absolutely massive. And all you really need is just awareness among your target market. But that awareness doesn't need to come from you alone. It's happening every single day.
You're right.
People are getting bombarded with these issues, and that awareness is just watching the news. They're seeing it, getting letters in the mail that we had a security breach. So that's all happening for you. So I think you've got a really
and 20 years experience, so she's the most credible.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah, I think you've got something really, really interesting here.
Thank you.
Great job.
Awesome. It was way easier than I thought. Man, it was so easy. It was just a conversation. Thank you so much. You're my new favorite.
Oh.
I'm just so gung-ho about getting this out there, working with businesses and changing the game. So go fund yourself. Scan the QR code.
People don't even know that they need this yet.
$2,500, they could get a bigger discount on the insurance probably by hiring her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like the insurance partnership.
Yeah, she was
And I like the
awesome.
business model too, because the SaaS is basically scalable, right?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah.
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 Good for
Thanks,
her.
guys.
I feel good. I think it's going to do well.